Raman, we're here.
Everything's been arranged. Someone will bring the village keepers back to Aru village shortly.
I guess all I can say now is...
Don't mention it. I think we can both... But we share a common cause now.
Where are the perpetrators?
I'll bring you to them.
So these are the people who kidnapped the village keepers.
Oh no, it's the scribe!
There's no need to yell. No one can help you now.
We've been all over the desert trying to find you!
That's right.
General Mahamatra? No, no! Make it quick, please!
Whoa. The moment they set eyes on Sino, they turned pale like they've seen a ghost!
You should have known that I would be coming for you.
Wait, we were just following orders. You know what I'm talking about, right? There's no way we could have done all this by ourselves.
No, not Sino. He's gonna tear us limb from limb.
I could do worse.
Please have mercy.
Start talking. Otherwise, I'll have to resort to...
So, your superiors have kept you quite busy recently. Why? What are they trying to accomplish?
They, wanted to extract canned knowledge.
Don't play dumb. You know what I'm really asking. They extract divine canned knowledge. Then what?
I really don't know how to explain it.
Well, you better start talking or you'll be sorry!
You don't want to make things any more difficult for yourself, do ya?
Be my guest.
Uh-huh? That sure didn't sound like a fancy metaphor or anything. You're serious, aren't you?
How did you know?
There's no use hiding it now. Yes, you're right. The Akademiya is working on an important and potentially world-changing project. It may seem as if Sumeru's academics are thriving, but ever since the death of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata, scholarly breakthroughs have been few and far between. The withering of Irminsul has been getting worse recently. The sages have tried everything they could think of, but nothing's worked. I'm always hearing them say things like, if only Greater Lord Rukkhadevata was still with us.
Continue.
And then, someone from the Fatui showed up. They called him the Doctor. He brought a gnosis and said he wanted to borrow the Akademiya's research facilities. The Doctor was previously expelled from the Akademiya. At first, the sages looked down at him in disdain. But when he asked them, do you wish to create a god?
This is what the arrogant ignorance at the extreme end...
First, the Akademiya spent a long time constructing a divine vessel. After that, they harvested dreams via the Zeb-Zerus festival Samsara. With the Doctor's help, and the Akasha now functioning at maximum efficiency, they were able to use it to extract the power from the Gnosis. Next, they decided that their new god needed to possess divine wisdom. For that to happen...
It adds up.
But how do you determine whether the knowledge extracted is of divine or...
Call it an educated guess? The Akademiya has been trying to figure out the exact source of the scholar's madness for centuries, but nobody can explain the cause of this phenomenon. Surely you can see what that implies, Scribe Al-Haytham. If it's knowledge no mortal can comprehend, then it must be something only gods are able to decipher. In other words, it's the source of the god of wisdom's...
You must have noticed by now. The Akademiya doesn't care about who their god is. It's the ability to exercise control over knowledge and wisdom that matters. It is as if they are cursed with a desire for omniscience and omnipotence that burns in their blood. Some organisms demonstrate phototaxis, and thus orient their entire lives in respect to sources of light. This is but a form of phototaxis. For many scholars, the absence of a god of wisdom means stumbling in the darkness for the duration.
Then what does Lesser Lord Kusanali mean to you? Is she not a true god present in this world? If you already have a new god...
From the beginning, the Akademiya has never treated her as a god. When the Akademiya first discovered Lesser Lord Kusanali, the newborn god of wisdom, the sages hoped that she would be as... They found that at the time, she possessed no more intelligence than any ordinary human child. The sages never had a ruder awakening. This forced them to... Not to mention that Lesser Lord Kusanali's gnosis has been used to power the Akasha this entire time. By herself, she has neither an Archon's raw power. Slowly but surely, people began to forget about her existence.
So, this is the path the sages have chosen.
All right, let's try to keep our cool. If everyone's in a bad mood, then let's change up our scenery. Raman, give me a few men to help us escort the village keepers back to the village. And these two scholars, they're...
Sure, as you wish.
The village keepers you found have all been returned to their homes, and each one has a dedicated caregiver to look after them. The two-
The atmosphere is so Hey! Say something! Stop spacing out!
Come on, is there nothing left to talk about? In that case, let's all get some water and try...
Or I can go fetch some snacks.
Oh, Paimon's so coming with you!
Do you have any plans, traveler?
Gods above, you're not talking about work, are you?
So you were still withholding?
Even though we lived through all of this firsthand, it still feels super surreal to hear you talk about it again.
What a whirlwind of a story. I felt like I was holding my breath the whole time.
It seems like there will be more issues to face in the days ahead than I'd anticipated.
Still, now's a good time to make our next move. Now that Raman's joined us, we'll be an even stronger team.
It's time to make a plan.
Indeed. These events are a flagrant transgression of the rules in every sense. We cannot allow it to continue.
So, everyone, are we on the same page?
Crush the sages and rescue our god. That is our ultimate...
Well, let's brainstorm a little more about what
The next time we gather here, we must have a solid plan.
Yep, it'll work out.
Everyone is already waiting inside.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's join them!
Please. Wait a moment. Before attending the meeting, I hope you can promise me one thing.
What do you need?
Promise me that you won't commit to anything too reckless.
What do you think?
Okay.
Of course not. It's all a bunch of nonsense. Picture frames in the sky.
Everyone's here so early! But why isn't anybody talking?
We already discussed things a bit.
Hey, where have you been? I've missed you too.
Are you ready?
Very well.
Are you sure this is gonna work?
I gotta admit, it's bold.
The point of discussion is to arrive at a solution. Let's cut the small talk and...
You're making Paimon nervous.
You're finally done.
I have some other stuff to take care of. Catch you all later. Come on, don't give me that face. I know what you're going to say. I'll be careful.
That's what I wanted to hear. Take care. Well, traveler, Paimon, judging from your expressions,
You can tell?
I'm not that good at scheming or strategy, but I can sense people's emotions.
Paimon's a little worried.
To be honest, I feel the same. But you're already some of the most capable people I know. So you have my trust.
Candace gave us a compliment.
Your deeds speak for themselves.
Candace, we stayed behind to tell you that, although you won't be coming with us,
I'm very glad to hear that. I've said the same thing to everyone here today as I said to you when you arrived. Only when you're safe can the plan be successful. So please, take care. You're welcome. And thank you for taking my advice. Good luck. With
Of course not.
Take it easy.
Sounds good. I'll go make some...
Okay.
I'll hit them.
Have you finished saying your goodbye?
Yeah. Also, Candace told everyone to be careful.
Yes, she did. But I think my point also bears repeating. Our plan is not child's play. We won't be able to achieve anything if we're simply careful. We must go beyond that and fully commit ourselves to it. I hope this is clear to you.
Huh? Shouldn't you be saying something more cheerful to boost our morale right now?
Didn't we already do that during the...
You can never have enough words of encouragement.
In that case, Candace can cuddle you to your heart's content while I can... We all have our jobs to do, after all. It's like how some people can be put in charge of
Speaking of the front lines?
Of course. Compared to the mercenaries, I'm merely a feeble scholar. But the advantage of not being a mercenary is that I get to stay in a safer place. Just think about that mercenary who lost his mind. Mercenary groups are facing constant danger.
Well, being a scholar is also a...
I'm not like the rest of them. Even among members of the same species, some will exhibit far more potential than others.
This guy. Paimon still remembers when those mercenaries in Port Ormos called you a lunatic.
All intellectuals are lunatics in the eyes of fools. I'll take that as a compliment. Do you remember the record we saw in the King Deshret ruins? It mentioned forbidden knowledge. You have a good memory. Forbidden knowledge has the power to drive people insane, but this fact has never been shared with the public. Even I, who has worked in the academia for some time, I think those mad scholars and mercenaries we encountered may have all fallen victim to the corrupting qualities of forbidden knowledge. But the academia has always held a different view. They have always believed that symptoms of madness are a side effect of human contact with divine knowledge as mere mortals. Come to think of it, perhaps the academia has also never understood the true nature of the Withering, Elazar, and the sandstorms. Don't you think what is happening right now across Sumeru is—
But Paimon thought that Irminsul's disease is what caused the withering and the sandstorms. At least, that's what Tainari told us. Wait a second. Could it be that?
Ah, you've connected the dots. The cause of Irminsul's illness may precisely be the pollution from forbidden knowledge.
But if that's the case, what should we do? This is—
Wait. Why do you think Lesser Lord Kusanali would have a solution to this situation?
You mean, it's related to the scene you saw when you passed out in the Avidia forest? That whole, the world forget me thing?
In that case, it's imperative that we rescue Lesser Lord Kusanali. To make sure we're still on track, I would like to check on the state of some of our preparatory work.
Where are we going?
To an Eremite base.
Take it easy.
Ah, they're here.
Huh? What are they doing here?
I gave them some technical work to do.
Ah, it's the scribe. And is that the traveler I see?
How's the work going?
Ah, yes! We have fixed the devices according to your instructions. One of them is already ready for use, while the others are still under repair.
Aren't those devices for canned knowledge extraction? What are you doing with those?
Look here.
Huh? More canned knowledge? Are you going to put more weird stuff into his head again?
What's that look on your face?
Paimon's a little scared, but very, very furious!
That's an interesting response. Anyway, we're not going to use this just yet. As I mentioned during the meeting, this knowledge capsule contains a decree I drew up in the past. The academia should also have their own copy. And according to the plan we just came up with... Traveler, I want you to record something into this capsule. Do you believe we can save Lesser Lord Kusanali? Good. Conviction is the most important part of... Now, please get ready and put on this device.
You want us to record our conviction into the knowledge cap?
Yes,
Paimon is...
I understand. But trust me, Paimon, this is something we have to do. It's best if you can do as I say. Because, to achieve this impossible task, it sounds like you'll need to fool your own heart first. Although it may feel like a trick, self-encouragement may be the most important tool we have.
Paimon can see the point you're trying to make.
Imagine this. We have orchestrated our plan and successfully rescued Lesser Lord Kusanali. As a result, everything went without a hitch, and everyone recognizes and praises our achievements. Now, open your eyes. Here,
What's this?
read it out loud. It's done.
Is your head okay? Does anything hurt?
It's just a recording. There should be no negative effects.
But what was the point of doing this?
And that's perfectly fine. In any case, these capsules aren't meant to be used by you.
Huh? What do you mean?
Have you forgotten? Our plan needs to account for those who have long relied on the Akasha. You may find it hard to believe, but for those people, everything the Akasha transmits to them is nothing short of absolute truth. Imagine if you've been using a device like the Akasha since the day you were born, and this device has always supported you during times of after all that time. What do you think you'd become?
A fool? A machine?
A slave to orders. And that's why rules are so important. In addition, those who understand the rules can delineate boundaries and identify gray areas.
But why would you need to identify the gray area?
You could say that those kinds of ambiguous zones can be very...
Things you're interested in are really out there. Are all Sumeru scholars like this?
Anyway, that's enough chit-chat. I'm going to take those two to work on some small projects. You can head to Caravan Rebot and start preparing for the next step.
Small project?
We're going to tinker with the Akasha terminal and make a few modifications.
This blinding sunlight is such a pain. No way I can get a nap in this weather.
I thought we agreed on a plan. How can you go back on your word?
The plan is too radical and carries a high risk for casualties. I've given it a lot of thought.
But it's still the best plan we have. As a former Matra, you of all people should be able to see the bigger picture.
I did. And that's how I saw the danger behind these so-called
Huh? Why are you guys arguing?
My friend, you're just in time. Why don't you help me persuade Sino?
We agreed to work out a plan at the meeting. As mercenaries, you're familiar with the local environment. Had I known Al-Haytham would give you those kind...
Look, you already know that we're all on the same side here.
Mercenaries place a lot of importance on their bonds of friendship, but also will not hesitate to make sacrifices if they deem the situation to be sufficiently dire.
Seems you really do understand the ways of the desert.
Traveler, Paimon, this is also something you should know. Ramon's plan is to have me work with the Caravan Rebot guards in my capacity as a Matra. We will arrest the
Wait! How can we work with the guards?
We can't get through that wall easily, remember? Caravan Rebot would never let so many unregistered members of the Eremites enter Sumeru City. My plan will clear us of any possible suspicion, and also let us enter the city as a big group. There is no better way.
That also sounds like something Al-Haytham told you.
Doesn't Al-Haytham know how dangerous this plan is?
Of course he does. He told me, there is no perfect plan, but this can get the job done. He also said that with the help of Sino and the Traveler, our chance of success would increase significantly. I never blindly trust anyone, and I've always had a good eye for people. I think he made a number of valid points.
If I make the arrests alone, I can control myself and prevent you from getting hurt. But I can't guarantee to make the whole thing more convincing. You'll need to resist to some degree. Casualties aren't... I'm okay with the deaths of enemies. But now that we're allies, I'm against the meaningless loss of our own.
I can't believe a Matra would actually care about us. I've lived a hard life, and I can say that people like you are hard to come by.
I've always treated my allies with honesty and respect. They have the right to know important things like this.
Now you're making this hard for me.
Hey, is there something we can do to help?
I knew you would say that.
We can help fight some of the mercenaries, which should reduce the number of times you'll have to struggle directly with the guards. That should help at least a little bit.
Sino, on behalf of my people, I thank you for your kindness. But this is a mission we cannot turn our backs on. We have no fear of casualties, because we crave the spoils of victory. So please, lend us your support. We will show you the determination.
Well, now that you've put it that way. But remember, you need to follow the plan and not do anything reckless. Candace made it very clear that we can... Since you and I both recognize the significance of this operation, there should be no more animosity between the followers of the Dendro Archon and those of King Deshret. Everyone's life is equally important.
Okay, you have a deal.
The guards should be stationed in the courtyard nearby. You can find them there. Guards!
General Mahamatra! To what do we owe the honor?
Keep your voice down. This is a secret operation. I'm going to arrest a large criminal gang near this location. According to the Academia's Guide and Regulations on Secret Operations, I have the right to ask for the cooperation of Caravan Rebot.
Ah, of course, of course. Mahamatra Sino's order is the Academia's order. Just let us know what you need. But who exactly are you planning to arrest, and how many people are you expecting? Depending on the scale of this operation, we may need...
They're a squad of Eremites whose number is comparable to Ain el Akmar in Port Ormos. They're involved in the theft and resale of supplies from the Academia.
As many as Ain al-Ahmar? This should definitely be classified as a joint operation.
Then I suggest that you report this to your superiors as soon as possible. And treat it as a top priority desert op.
Got it. Please wait a moment. I'll contact them immediately.
Because this is work. Because I trust you.
Paimon can't believe you're still in the mood to chat. Aren't you even a little worried? What if these guards already know that you have betrayed the Academia? Even if that guard doesn't know, they're...
We discussed this, remember?
The Caravan Rebot operation is of great importance. But don't worry, the guards there...
How can you be so sure?
First, the other Matra still don't know why Sino has left, which proves that the Academia has been covering up the matter. Second, this is a crucial moment for the Academia's God creation plan. If something were to happen to the General Mahamatra, it's bound to attract a lot of unwanted attention. No matter how you look at it, they don't seem interested in sharing the news of Sino's departure.
A reasonable inference.
Which brings us to our next issue. I'm sure some of you have been wondering if the prediction function of the Akasha will affect our operation.
The Akasha is still in operation, so I must remain... Actually, considering the power of the Akasha...
I've given that a lot of thought. For now, I don't think you'll need to worry. If you remember, when you first came to Aru Village, all your actions and routes were predicted by the Akasha. It even gave that information to the... But things like that never happened again after we met up.
That's true. But why?
Look at it from a different angle. Why do you think the Akasha will predict...
Because my personal data has been entered into the Akasha.
That's true, but the key to this question is, haven't you ever thought about it? Just how can it do this in the first place?
Because the Akasha controls the entirety of Sumeru.
The Academia firmly believes that all human actions can be explained through logic. By sorting and analyzing entered data, the Akasha can derive behavioral logic and predict the actions of those who fit an existing logic model. However, at the risk of sounding like an advocate for fallacies, can everyone truly be considered logical at all times? Emotions are part of our behavioral logic, but can you guarantee that every experience of the same joy or pain would be equally intense? How can our feelings and opinions be predictable down to the letter in... Sino, in the past, you've always worked alone. In the absence of another person who could sway you or your thoughts, decisive and principled, you were used to solving problems alone. That's why the Akasha could figure you out. But now, you've joined a team. And I believe the Akasha hasn't yet figured out the full composition of it. Our thoughts and logic have intermingled and weaved themselves together to become a complicated, chaotic mess. The Akasha lacks data on these interactions, and it's impossible for it to predict your actions in the future based on your decisions in the past. After all, there's probably a limit to just how much we can be modeled or controlled by data. So, in my opinion, you're probably safe for now.
Makes sense to me. I agree. The Akasha is not alive, and I don't think we can be completely controlled by something without a mind of its own.
I guess there are things that even the Akasha cannot calculate, and people will not be forever trapped by the
I'm so glad that this is...
Next time, pay attention during our meetings.
Will do.
Just remember to stay fit.
Footsteps!
General Mahamatra, we were not expecting your presence here. I'm the security officer of the Great Red Sand District. My name is Luxembarbo.
This is my assistant, the Traveler. He will be working with me. The construct next to him is for his work.
Beep! Construct, beep!
What a great honor to meet you. Your golden hair is as bright as the sun. And, is this the latest technology from the Academia?
Have you made a decision regarding the matter I mentioned to your subordinate?
It seems to be a dire situation, so of course you will have our full cooperation. To be perfectly honest, I've always longed to go on a mission with someone...
There's no need for flattery.
Yes.
Take your most elite platoon and follow me to the eastern side of the district.
Understood.
Map.
Hurry, bring the map!
In 2 days, we will engage Rahman's Eremites and capture all of them. Any questions about the time or location?
None at all, sir.
Good. See you then.
Yes, sir.
Maybe hanging around the General Mahamatra isn't so bad after all. Everyone's so respectful towards us.
This is all due to the absolute authority of the Academia. And now, we're going to strike back against that Get ready.
It's time for the operation! Let's go meet Sino in the desert!
Busted.
Feeling lucky today.
Take it easy.
Look! Over there! Our helpers have arrived already! Let's hurry over!
Wait a moment.
Ah! Oh, it's you!
You're my assistant, remember? Being my assistant, you must stay with me.
It's General Mahamatra and his assistants.
We meet again.
You're here early.
It's to show how important we think the operation is. Since this is a big case for the Academia,
I'm glad to hear your sense of resolve. Remember, we must capture them alive. They are our only leads for the case.
Understood.
Everyone! The Eremites are approaching from...
Make preparations and be ready for combat. Halt!
Oh? What a warm welcome! What do you want? Judging from those shiny weapons in your hands, it seems like you're not interested in a deal.
Rahman, the Academia has caught wind of your smuggling and illicit sales. If you value your life, I advise you to surrender.
Who are you supposed to be? A Matra from the Academia?
I'm not here to talk.
Oh, nobody's given me this much time of day since I've been... Brothers! For that slight, let's wash our blades with their blood.
Shine down!
Quietly now. Game's up. Time's over.
Boom boom!
Busted.
Motion to compel!
It's over.
We have subdued them. The operation is now over. All Eremite mercenaries and related personnel in...
You pitiful Dendro Archon dogs!
I'm afraid you'll regret it first.
King Jeshred will curse you, and you...
Silence!
Oh,
Restrain them and take them back to Caravan Rebot. Count their numbers and send them to the Academia as instructed by the General.
Yes, sir!
Mahamatra Sino, I will now take my leave. If you need further assistance, please come to Caravan Rebot and ask.
Understood. You are dismissed.
There they go.
Let's talk elsewhere.
This part of the plan went really well.
Yes.
That's fantastic! And that punch you gave Ramon there sure looked convincing enough.
Once we're done here, I'll return to Caravan Rebot and oversee the group's transport. I promise.
Yeah, you're the reason.
It's not the time to celebrate yet. Go join up with her. She will need you to introduce her to Tainari.
Speaking of which, is it really okay for us not to share the full plan with Tainari? What if he'll feel miffed about it and refuse to...
I have a very close relationship with Tainari. Given how well we know each other, I believe my message alone. If we need help, Tainari is the best option. Get ready for the next phase of the plan. Don't keep them waiting.
It's about time. Didn't you say our part of the plan is the most important of all? And here you... In the time it took you to get here, I already did 5 laps around the place, down 7 drinks.
Sorry. We didn't mean to keep you waiting.
I just wanted to fix your attitude and rub it in a little. After all, you took your sweet time getting here, and we've got important stuff to take care of. I just like seeing that All joking aside, I'm glad you're here. Let's...
But where should we start?
Our responsibility is to get a status update on the Fatui Harbinger known as the Doctor. We need to make sure he won't... Dealing with an institution that controls all of Sumeru is already hard enough. If the Doctor were to crash the party, it would be next to impossible for us to achieve our goals.
Yeah, we sure don't want him showing up. Ooh, he really gives Paimon the creeps.
Right? Hearing his name just reminds me of those stuffy old geezers in the Academia. I'd rather not have to deal with someone like that. According to the plan, we should first go to Pardis DI and ask for Forest Watcher Tainari. If all Hatham and Sino's sources are solid, then we can be sure that Tainari still has the Academia's trust. So, we'll find Tainari and convince him to get us the latest intel on the Doctor. The sages have placed spies everywhere on the other side of the wall. You should be honored. I don't offer my
Like, Paimon thought mercenaries would do anything.
That's certainly true. But when multiple employers are vying for your services, you should always go with the best offer.
How much more do you want?
How much do I want? Hey, how about paying me with a smile? What do you say? I haven't seen you smiling much recently. If you ask me, come on, give me a smile so that I'm looking good. I hope this pretty smile will become... There are many kinds of smiles, but only a truly joyous one can bring blessings to others. Let's go. It's time to pay a visit to Pardis.